Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. I'm Joe Staszak, along with my good friend Steve Kallas. It's time for another episode of Kallas and Marks with yours truly, and of course, our resident genius, Steve Kallas. And we're going to be talking a little football, baseball today. We'll even throw a little hockey in. But, you know, Steve, the preseason's underway, only 3 games this year. I hate preseason. I think my stance on that is well documented and known, but the Eagles set football back another 10 years with the game they played against the Patriots the other night. The first half, turnover right off the bat, 2 punts, on downs, an interception. Second half, punt, interception, end of game, 35-0 Patriots. I know it's preseason, and of course, Jalen Hurts was scratched right before the game started. 165 yards of total offense, really?
I just don't know what the thought process is, and didn't hear anything about it. The Eagles, so they made Cam Newton and Mac Jones look like, I don't know, Johnny Unitas and Tom Brady. But I don't understand why you'd start your twos. I'm going to guess the reason is you wanted to see how your twos could do against the ones, because the Patriots started their O-line. I think only their center Andrews didn't play. And it was, you know, the varsity against the 8th graders. It wasn't even against the freshman team. So maybe they're looking for, I don't know, 1 or 2 players who could actually stand in there, but it was a rout from day one. The thing I took from that game, I don't think you can take much of anything from the Eagles, but the thing I took from that game that nobody really talked about until, and I want to give him credit, Ryan Clark at 12 noon live Sports Center the next day. Nobody talked about Cam's arm strength. To me, the only question is, can Cam Newton throw the ball? Now, was it his shoulder that he got so bad last year? He was good very early. Was it COVID? He came back from COVID, wasn't good. Was it no training camp? He's got 93 excuses. But the only question to me for the Patriots being okay to maybe really, really good is, can Cam Newton sling it? And on back-to-back passes in the first quarter, he threw 2 bullets, 25 yards downfield, right on the money. And I didn't hear a word about velocity. I heard one of the Hasselback brother who's on ESPN. Oh, he was reading his progressions. Ryan Clark too. He's reading. What? Cam Newton forgot how to read his progressions? No. Can he throw it or not? But because, so he's 8 for 9 for what, 103, whatever it was video game numbers. But again, the ones were playing against the twos. And I think when Mac Jones got in there, it was essentially the twos were playing against the threes. So I don't know what the Eagles were trying to prove. It was because you have a team, yeah, they got some, you know, they have a bunch of veterans, as you know, but you got to build up a little confidence. I remember last week you saw the starters. I saw Kelsey play. I saw Lane Johnson play. None of those guys played. Maybe Maliata played on the left side because he didn't play the week before. But most of the starters did not play. They play. I guess because it's 3 games instead of 4, you have different guys deciding to do different things. Am I playing my starters? You know, Belichick, I mean, he sent him out there, and he does have a quarterback issue, but I don't see there being, and maybe I just missed this, maybe you know more. I don't see this as a quarterback controversy at all. If Cam Newton can throw it, literally can throw it, he's the starter. If he can't throw it, then Mac Jones is going to be in there quickly. They both threw it. They both had great stats, but I'll say it again. They were playing like this.
Yeah.
The Eagles on the other hand, here are the Eagles. They were playing like this. And I still, you know, again, you want to see how the lower echelon guys, the guys at the end of your roster, can they really play in NFL games? I get that. But to the tune of getting your head kicked in for the whole game from beginning to end, that I don't understand. Sanders did play, as you know, and looked okay. But to me, there's so much you're running behind the line. I'm not saying you don't know the guys' names, but but there was maybe 1 starter on that line, and I just don't understand it. It was really mystifying. I did not see any post game. I didn't go out of my way. I usually watch till the quarterbacks leave, but to me, with the Patriots, you have to watch both. Not because Mac Jones is going to be the starter. I think Cam Newton is shut that down now. And again, with those two throws that nobody talked about until Ryan Clark the next day, literally nobody talked. I watched every show I could watch in terms of highlights, but he threw it like Cam Newton can throw it. And if he can throw it like Cam Newton can throw it, Hightower came back. They still got the best secondary in the league. Their offensive line is going to be excellent. And I took issue with our buddy Rick Morris, who did an AFC East thing on FDH Lounge. And both he and his buddy Chris Galloway, they did all the divisions. They both said it's going to be between the Dolphins and the Patriots for second and third. I think it's going to be close. I don't think the Patriots have really come back. You can't buy a title. They brought in too many guys. Well, hold it now. So I wrote a long thing on Facebook, which I don't usually write. And I was like, they'll have, if they're healthy, Henry and Smith, they might be the best tight end duo together. I understand you're not going to say they're better than Kittle or Kelsey or fill in anyone else you want. I get that, or Gronkowski. But together on the Patriots, I wrote, I think the Patriots are going to turn the league back to the Rams 13-3 because they got 4 or 5 good running backs. They got a rookie, the Stevenson guy. He's really good. They got Sony Michel. They still got James White out of the backfield. The announcer from the Eagles, I forget his name, the color commentator said, yeah, the Patriots, they have 5 good running backs every year. They talk more about the Patriots because it was really embarrassing. What could they really say about the Eagles? They were grasping for anything remotely positive. Right. And as you know, there wasn't really much that was even remotely positive. But I think there was a coming out party for the Patriots. The next day, everybody, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, no, not Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, Max Kellerman and others, the Patriots are the sleeper team. Well, they're not a sleeper team if you looked at what they did. Right. And you knew Hightower's coming back. Their linebackers now, Kyle Van Noy came back from Miami, Hightower, and they got Judon from the Ravens. And they already have the best secondary in football. Gilmore's back. Everyone thought he was going to get traded because Belichick didn't want to pay him. Gilmore's back. I think they're going to be real good. I think they can challenge, and I wrote this to Rick, they can challenge Buffalo. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but I think they can challenge Buffalo for the AFC East. And I looked at their schedule early on, and other than playing Tom Brady in week 4 in New England, they have a very good chance to go like 5-1 their first 6. And even, I don't know how they do those percentages, maybe you do, but ESPN put up likelihood the Patriots are going to win their first 6. And the lowest one was Tampa Bay. And because it's in New England, the Patriots have a 48% chance to win. That's almost 50-50. I don't necessarily agree with that, but you get my point. If you can play the Bucs even up, you've come a long way from 7-9, which is what the Patriots were last year. But disappointed in the Eagles. It was hard to say. They didn't show you much because I don't think they got a chance to show you much. What could they realistically do? I still don't know the answer to that question, Joe.
How much does it set them back, do you think? And I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but it seems kind of odd. I mean, he's warming up, Jalen Hurts, and all of a sudden comes down with a stomach infection. It's not even a flu or a stomach infection, and he doesn't play. I don't get that at all. Am I trying to make too many? It just doesn't seem right.
They literally, as you know, they literally showed him throwing down the sidelines, warming up, rubbing his hands, and then he was gone. But I think Jalen Hurts has a chance, but I don't think he would have had a chance last night when they played. Or the night before, I don't think they would have had a chance because it was a beatdown. I mean, the backup center snapped it over Flacco's head on the 3rd play of the game, and it was 7-0 before you could blink an eye, with the Patriots obviously going to get the ball in the second half. So I don't, would the snaps have been any different? I don't know. Flacco's like 6'5", 6'6", he's like 8 feet over. Now look, these things happen in exhibition games, but I just thought it was, but you gave your team no chance. And maybe the answer will be, I was looking for these 2 or 3 guys. Mm-hmm. Based on what I saw, I'm not sure you can find it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I think you're right. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think you're right. It did not help them. And anything you hear that they got help this past week is going to be, coach speak.
Right.
I thought it was a mistake. Now, look, he played the Stars last week. He'll probably play him next week. And he probably didn't want to play him 3 games in a row. You know, the best thing you could say is, from what I could tell, they didn't get any like serious injuries. That would be probably the best thing I could say.
Okay, let's talk a little. Give me one sec. The Chiefs and the Cardinals played also the other night, and I'll be damned, it's hard to watch. The Chiefs could barely move the sticks. You know, Patrick Mahomes coming back from that injury, but it was hard for them to even get a first down. They did prevail 17-10, but and it's preseason. Again, I take nothing from preseason, although I'm expected to analyze it, and not much to analyze there.
Well, he was, for Patrick Mahomes, he was really inaccurate, which was shocking to me. But I don't know that it matters. What the experts took away from it, and I don't disagree with this, is he had that off-season toe surgery, and he was pretty mobile. He ran around. The new criticism on Mahomes, unless you tell me it's an old criticism that I wasn't aware of, is that there are times he can step up into an open pocket and throw the ball, but he still bails. And my answer to that is, this guy might be the greatest quarterback ever at bailing and still making great plays, not good plays.
Yeah.
But if the new thing is we want you to be stand in the pocket quarterback, or that's what you should improve on, I guess he said he's kind of working on that. But I thought that was kind of comical. I was shocked at his inaccuracy. This is Patrick Mahomes. Now, again, it's what you said. It's the exhibition season. You can't really put too much into it. He was Mr. Positive after him. I think they went on 4th down like 2 or 3 times. It took them 4 downs to get 10 yards, like 2 or 3 times. I actually thought it was pretty impressive for the Arizona defense against Mahomes and the Kansas City defense. Kyler Murray, 3 series, 3 3-and-outs. Chris Smith got him because he's Chris Smith. Remember we talked about him. Chris Jones, Chris Smith, Chris Jones, who signed for a lot of money that I loved in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He looked like he was quicker than Kyler Murray on one play to get a sack. He was unbelievable. And he played 9 plays. I think Kyler Murray got like 3 yards total in 9 plays. So I was impressed with the KC defense. But, you know, you tell me about how it's going to be a repeat, the Bucs and the Chiefs, which maybe, you know, you asked me to pick today. I know we'll pick before the season starts. I might pick the Bucs and the Chiefs. But to me, if they really improve their line, they got Joe Thuney, the best guard from the Patriots. But if they really improve their line, that's going to just make them even with Tampa Bay. That doesn't put them ahead of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay scored 31 on them in the Super Bowl. So will Mahomes score 32 if he has a good line? Yeah, maybe. But that just kind of makes them even. If they score 28, they lose compared to last year's game.
Right.
So I was not impressed with Mahomes. You tell me if all you're looking for is mobility. Yeah, he was mobile. He's Patrick Mahomes. But his throwing, that's the least accurate I've seen him like forever. Now, again, preseason game, can't worry too much about it. I must be focusing on different things. I was just looking for Cam arm strength. Clearly he had it, at least for 25 yards. He didn't throw anything 50 yards downfield. But Mahomes it was so in your face that he was missing passes that you wouldn't think it was Patrick Mahomes. And Kyler Murray never had a chance. He never had a chance. Chris Jones ran him down like he was 50 pounds overweight. Kyler Murray, not Chris Jones.
Mahomes was mobile in last year's Super Bowl, too. He ran backwards almost 500 yards. So
Right.
They better hope that they did something with that offensive line and that he's healthy. Again, it's preseason. You don't exactly know what's going on out there or why things are being done, or maybe you're just not showing anything. But it's been a little hard to watch, got to be honest. I was glad to cut it down to 3 games, but it's been a little rough so far. Let's talk a little baseball, bud. Last I checked, the Phils, before I went away, they were in first place in the NL East. Then they dump a series to Arizona. They get swept. Meanwhile, the Mets, can't win their way out of a paper bag, and their owner, Steve Cohen, comes out. And well, I'll let you take it from there on what you thought on Steve Cohen's tweet.
He's a billionaire. He's a gigantic Met fan. He spent the money on Lindor, blah, blah, blah. But then every once in a while, these guys, I'm just going to read you the tweet. And I should point out, The Mets are in the middle of 13 games against the Dodgers and Giants, arguably the two best teams in baseball. And I think maybe the two best records. And before, I think we talked about this off air. I think I sent my son a text. I don't think the Mets might win 4 games out of these 13 coming up. And so I think they were 0-4 or 0-5 to the Dodgers and Giants. And here's the tweet. Why you would do this in the middle of your toughest 13 games of the year, by far, because you got, I think, 7 with the Dodgers and 6 with the Giants or vice versa. But you got 13 against 2 of the best teams. Here's what he wrote. And I quote, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive. The best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie." The problem with that is when the slugging and OPS numbers after those 5 games are against, I don't know, Max Scherzer. I'm trying to think who else pitched, because the Giants I haven't followed as much, but they have some very Gaussman. The really good young pitcher now, who's I thought overshadowed Kershaw in the last few years. Bueller, is it? Is
Yes.
Bueller?
Yes.
I mean, they're facing guys who are lights out.
Yeah.
Here's the newsflash. When you face, I don't know, Koufax and Drysdale in the old days, here's the newsflash. Your OPS numbers are going to go down. You're going to be less productive. And they just trotted guy out after guy after guy. And the joke of it all, and this is a knock on the New York media, I think. So that day that he put the tweet out, the Mets won. They beat the Giants 6-2 in 12 innings. They're like, oh, the Met bats open up. Well, hold it. It was 1-1 after 9.
Yeah, I know.
How much did that tweet? And then we start doing beer league softball. They both scored in the 10th.
Yeah.
And I think VR, somebody hit a 3-run homer in the 12th. I mean, that tweet had nothing to do with the effectiveness, because then they went right back in the tank. And they've lost every other game since then. So my point is, you have to have a sense. It's hard to write a tweet, and the Mets have been in a bunch of these games. You know, they've lost a ton of them by 1 or 2 runs, but the point is they lost and they didn't score many. The 6 runs was an explosion. I'll say it again. In 9 innings, the explosion was 1 run. So to me, you have to have a sense of timing. I thought they'd go 3-10 or 4-9. They might not get 3 wins. So you're a billionaire, you're a diehard fan, you spend the money. The reality on the Mets is Lindor has not produced and he's hurt. He's been out for weeks now. DeGrom is pretty much done for the season, and you were playing your 13 toughest game, road, not even road, home and away, 13 games in a row for the season by far. Now, after that, they might have like 10 or so easy games. I think they play the Nationals 6 times, you know, have traded a bunch of guys. I'm going to bet that they're going to do better against those teams, Joe.
You think?
They're going to do against the Giants and the Dodgers. So again, if you're going to do that, you're the owner. You can do whatever you want. You're a billionaire. But you got to have some common sense as to when to think. They don't lie, but who are you getting your production against? Who are you facing now?
Yeah.
You're not facing bottom ring pictures.
Right.
You're facing 2 of the best pitching staffs in the league. So I don't understand. He was trying to shake things up. People were dumb enough to give him a little credit. That's stupidity. They scored 1 run the next time. If the Dodgers could have scored 2, they would have lost 2-1. But they did win that game. But, you know, and because, as you said, the Phillies get swept by the last place Diamondbacks, at least they come back and beat San Diego, which is, you know, San Diego is obviously good.
Sure.
But it's given Atlanta without Acuna, who everybody, including me, wrote off once Acuna went down.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman's unconscious again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in place by, I don't even know how many games now, 3 games, 4 games. I don't even know.
There are 4 games ahead.
And I will just mention briefly in the American League what the Yankees have done. You got to give Cashman credit. He gets those 2 lefties.
Oh, yeah, totally.
When Rizzo, of course, who was hot as a pistol and then got COVID. But Joey Gallo, when he came to the Yankees, he had 25 home runs. he had more home runs than every lefty in the Yankees combined when he showed up. Now Rizzo's been the hot one. Gallo's hit 3 or 4 homers, but they're so strong now. Their lineup. Voit said, because Rizzo's playing first. He's much better defensively than Voit, but Voit was like, you better get me my playing time. I've been here a few years. I led the majors in homers last year. I'm hitting the ball good now. And he probably shouldn't open his mouth, but since then he's hitting like 500 for like the last 5 games. Guys 4 for 4 the other night with a homer. So they got to find room for these guys. But with the 2 lefties in the lineup, you can't, just throw tough righties against the Yankees anymore, because the short porch, the drill for 100 years there, the short porch and everything else, they're going to be very tough. And Cole and Montgomery, their 2 best pitchers, Tyone's been pitching great. They both got COVID, not on the list. They both got it, and they both just came back. So I don't know if the Yankees can catch the Rays. They're like 4 behind. But the Yankees have had the best record in baseball since the All-Star break, and the Rays are like a half a game behind them. So they haven't really picked up. They're 4 or 5 behind the Rays, but they blew right by the Red Sox, swept them early in the week when Cole came back and pitched to Gem right off the COVID list. And they passed the A's as well. So the Yankees, it's the team you don't want to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But very weird things in the AL East and the NL East. And I'll say it again, if you're playing the Dodgers and the Giants, I don't care who you are, here's a news flash. I think you're going to lose more than you're going to win.
Yeah.
And if you're not a good team, if your best player, Lindor, not only isn't playing, but hasn't produced when he was playing, and maybe the best pitcher in the world, DeGrom, is now gone till September 15th. And I think they announced 99% done for the year. Realistically, you're the owner. Where are they going? So I thought it was stupid. Owner can do whatever he wants, but I'm just surprised how these guys are wildly successful billionaires, and they come into baseball and they write tweets like that at a time like that, trying to be like an analytics guy, when all you have to do is look at the pitchers they're facing. And the tweet could have been, yeah, I think our production might go down in the next 13 games.
Little bit.
It will. And it has.
Hey, one thing I do like about baseball is the home run records. I just think, being able to hit a home run against some of these pitchers and doing it consistently over your career. 27 players have hit 500 home runs or more in the history of baseball. And Miguel Cabrera is trying to become the 28th. Still stuck on 499, but quite a career so far.
I saw a thing, there was a question about like Triple Crown winners. So the only 2 guys I can find, and maybe this is an Elias Sports Bureau question. So Cabrera has multiple batting titles. He's got 4. He's got a Triple Crown. He's about to hit 500 homers. As far as I can tell, the only other guy who's done that is Ted Williams, who had 2 Triple Crowns, 6 batting titles, 521 homers, and missed all those years in the military. His numbers, he may very well be the greatest hitter who ever lived, because he missed almost 5 full seasons.
Yeah.
But here's the sideline of that. In addition to 499 homers, Cabrera has 2,954 hits. And Ted Williams did not get 3,000 hits because he missed 5 years. He had 2,900 something. But I think Cabrera, I wish I had a hook to the Elias Sports Bureau. I think Cabrera is going to be the first guy with multiple batting titles, the Triple Crown, 500 homers, and 3,000 hits. I don't think anybody's done that, including Williams. And he, to me, in the modern day, is one of the greatest right-handed hitters of the last 50, 60 years, easily.
Amazing.
And he's also still hitting. You know how it is at the end, they hang on, they make the good money, but their average goes down.
Yeah.
He's still hitting, I want to say, 311 lifetime. That's incredible for
312. I just saw that's correct.
Right. So with a power guy like that, to do what he's doing in today, to me, if you hit 280 now, that's like over 300, maybe 270 with the new world. Tell me it's analytics or launch angle, or I don't care if I strike out 192 times, as long as I hit 30 homers. Maybe that's an analytic balance that's good, but that's why you have all these crazy strikeout numbers. But you're going to have, home run records broken. Although I think they did the oily stuff off. there's been one no-hitter since the Oily stuff.
Yeah, right.
And there was like six or seven before, without counting the Madison Bumgarner one that we've beaten to a pulp.
Yeah.
I do want to say one more thing about baseball, though. I saw this play earlier today, and you know how they say, and it's true in baseball more than any other sport, you watch a baseball game, you'll often see something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, Rougned Odor of the Yankees is at bat today. Angel Hernandez is the umpire, not known for being a great umpire, especially on balls and strikes. Odor is in the box with 2 men on. It's like 6-0 Yankees. It's not really a game, but he's in the box with 2 runners on. He's waiting. He's a lefty batter. Just before the guy's going to pitch, he goes like this to Angel Hernandez, puts his hands back on the bat. Hernandez runs out from behind the plate. The pitcher throws it. He hits a 3-run homer in the Yankee bullpen. No, I've never seen that. You've seen guys call time late. I've never seen a guy pitch it and the guy hit it. You couldn't even tell until the replay that he had just gone like this. So that was strike 2. No, that was a no pitch. He had 2 strikes on him. I think it was 1 and 2 or something. The next pitch, a high curveball, at least 1 ball length outside and 1 ball length high. And Angel Hernandez did a double punch out. Called him out after the guy did a timeout home run on the next pitch. The door went nuts. And Boone came out of the dugout. I mean, it was, I've never seen a guy do that. Call time, have the ability to get his bat on the ball and hit it in the Yankee bullpen, which is right center, is no weak shot. It's not like down the line. So I'm sure that'll be on. I don't know if it'll be on Friday Funnies next week on ESPN, but it'll be on all the highlight films, because it's one of those things you've just never seen before. And I do agree. You see it in a baseball game more than any other sport where you say, man, I never saw that before.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen every game, but it does happen frequently. That was wild.
Wild stuff. Well, we're going to close out tonight with one of my wife's favorites. Big crush on this guy, and he's just announced his retirement. Henrik The Great is calling it a career. Never got the cup, went to the finals a few years ago and played the Kings and lost in 5 games. But one of the great goaltenders of all time to not have his name on the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well, even too, of all the goaltenders, he's 459 wins, 6th all time. He's got 30 plus wins in 11 different seasons. That's 3rd all time. An unbelievable goalie. Rangers were manhandled by the Kings in 14. I'm sure you will watch that. The Kings were so much bigger and stronger than the Rangers in that series. Has a great international career, won the Olympic gold medal in 2006, then came to the Rangers, played 15 years. I think he won a silver in 2014. He actually won a gold in the World Championships just 2 years ago in 2019. So still on his game. Rangers bought him out of the last year of his contract. As you know, he actually signed with the Caps, which would have been interesting, still chasing the cup. Yeah. I think it's good that he winds up playing 15 years as a Ranger, and that's it. He also told a Swedish newspaper or someone that he needs another heart procedure. So I'm sure that was the deciding.
Sure, of course.
I don't want to say final nail in the coffin. The guy's 39 years old.
Right.
But an incredible goaltender. Rangers have already announced they're going to retire his number 30, which is like the number of almost all great goalies for the first, 70 years of the NHL. I know it got nuttier later than that. Also good in the community, very popular guy. Maybe you should have interviewed Shannon, but obviously pretty much a male model as well.
Yeah.
And he said something like, he had a very nice post. He said something like, I was raised in Sweden, but you guys have really made me feel like a New Yorker, which he is. So I'm actually kind of glad. If he could chase the cup, that's your prerogative, and he tried to do it. But I think it's kind of nice now that he's going to retire, having played this whole career with one team. And maybe the asterisk guys will go, oh, yeah, but he signed with Washington.
Yeah.
But he never played a game for them. And, just a great goaltender. I think he's 10th all time in save percentage, which is kind of a nice stat to have. And, just an incredible goalie. And again, in the community, on the ice, always a leader. And And the third guy I'll add with Carey Price now is who I've left out over these years, best goalie to not win a cup, who you know is Roberto Luongo, who has even more wins than Lundqvist. So those would be the three I would name. I thought Tony Esposito, we talked about this, or I cleared it up on Facebook. My buddy Russ Cohen, who's a big hockey guy, as you know. Tony Esposito's name is on the cup. He was the backup goalie to the Montreal Canadiens in 1969. He played 13 games and didn't play a minute in the playoffs. I thought the rules were you couldn't get your name on the cup unless you played half the regular season games and played or one game in the cup finals. That might be the rule now, but apparently was not the rule then. So Tony Esposito's name is on the Stanley Cup, believe it or not, as a Montreal Canadian.
How about that? That's great information. You can only find right here on this podcast. Kallas remarks with myself and, of course, Steve Kallas. Great job as usual, bud. We're back next week with another episode. I think it'll be our 252nd. So we appreciate you all sticking with us for over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. You can follow Steve's stuff every day on his Facebook forum page, Speaking of Sports with Steve Kallas. You can also check out his videos, westchestercountypost.com, on YouTube. This podcast will appear on YouTube. Usually we tape Friday mornings, sometimes Saturday mornings, but excuse me, it is a weekly thing. And you can follow me on Twitter at JoeStaszak975, and we appreciate you hanging with us. And don't worry, folks, it's coming. It's getting closer. So as much as I hate to see the summer go, Steve, you know I like my football. September 10th, I believe the Eagles kick it off, but hopefully they won't look like they did the other night. But great job as usual, my friend, and we'll catch up with you this week.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
All right. Thanks, folks. Enjoy your week. Be safe. God bless. We'll talk to you next time.